You've probably been told that building wealth is all about spreadsheets, numbers, and some kind of financial wizardry, right? But what if I told you the most important factor isn't what you know, but how you act? What if the real key to financial success isn't in your head at all, but in your everyday habits? I mean, think about it for a second. We all know someone, hey, maybe it's even been one of us, who's incredibly smart, makes a great salary, but is just constantly struggling with money. How is that even possible? It doesn't seem to add up. Well, that's the core puzzle we're going to solve today.
And here's the big secret. We've been looking at wealth all wrong. We've been treating it like a math problem when really it's a psychology problem. And once you realize that, you realize the rules are completely different, which explains why so many people get stuck.
What this really means is that building wealth is what you'd call a soft skill. Yeah, really. It's way less about knowing the textbook definition of a mutual fund and way more about how you handle yourself when the market gets shaky or what you do when you get an unexpected bonus. Your behavior, your temperament, that's the real engine of your financial success. So, let's talk about that balance between knowing stuff and doing stuff. How does it actually break down? Well, I can tell you it's not a 50-50 split, not even close. In fact, there's a really powerful principle at play here that, honestly, changes everything. 80%. Just let that number sink in for a second. What single thing could possibly be that important in your financial life? It's not how much you make, and it's definitely not your IQ. Nope, it's something way more fundamental.
And here it is. This is the 80-20 rule of finance, right here in action. A whopping 80% of building wealth comes down to your behavior, your habits, your discipline, your emotional control. Only 20% is the technical head knowledge. Think about what that means. You don't have to be a Wall Street genius to get rich. You just have to learn how to behave correctly with your money.
This is where the real work is. Seriously, learning about investing, that's the easy part. You can read a book for that. The hard part is managing that gut-wrenching fear that makes you want to sell when the market drops, or the greed that makes you want to pile in at the very top. It's about having the discipline to stick to your plan and just not panic when everyone else is freaking out. You know, this whole focus on behavior, it also explains this really common and super frustrating trap. It's a cycle that millions of people are stuck in right now. And maybe you have even felt it yourself. Man, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? You can get a raise, you can work longer hours, you can hustle like crazy. But if your core financial behaviors don't change, like say you just spend every new dollar you make, you're not actually getting anywhere. You're just spinning that wheel faster and faster and getting totally exhausted in the process. So how in the world do you get off the wheel? Well, it all starts with this one small but incredibly powerful shift in your mindset. It's about moving from seeing yourself as a spender to seeing yourself as an owner. This is the fundamental behavioral change that wealthy people have absolutely mastered.
Okay, to really get this shift, first we have to be honest about what cash is. We tend to think of it as safety, as security. But in the long run, cash is actually a tool that is designed to lose value. Every single year, that cash sitting in your bank account buys a little bit less than it did the year before. Thanks inflation. It's like trying to fill up a leaky bucket. And right here, you can see the two mindsets in totally different worlds. The spender, they see that cash as a tool for buying things right now. The owner, they see that same cash as a tool for buying assets, things that can grow and generate even more value, like stocks or real estate or a piece of a business. One behavior slowly drains your wealth, while the other systematically builds it. All right, so let's make this super practical. How does this psychological shift actually help you build real, lasting security in the economy that we are all facing right now and in the years to come?
So here's a reality check for the modern world. That old model of getting one safe job and staying there for 40 years, it's pretty much over. In fact, relying on a single paycheck is now one of the riskiest financial strategies you can possibly have. So the path to true security, it turns out, is behavioral. Step one is a mental shift. You have to really, truly recognize the risk of having all your eggs in one basket. Step two is a new behavior. You've got to actively start building other streams of income, whether it's through investing, a side business, whatever. And step three is maybe the most important soft skill of all, cultivating the patience to let those streams grow over time. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, it's a get-wealthy-slowly strategy.
Which brings us to the final and frankly the most important question of all, the one you have to ask yourself. Take an honest look at your own financial habits. Are they slowly and patiently building real wealth for your future, or are they just helping you run faster and faster on a hamster wheel that's not actually taking you anywhere? Because at the end of the day, that choice is yours.